Hello, House of House Users here for my next Christmas review. And well, this is one I've been meaning to get to for a very, very long time. And boy was it worth the wait finally being able to watch it this year. Joyeux Noel. Yeah, so why is it Novel? No, no. Otherwise, yeah. This is a film I find it's a very different Christmas movie, but I love it for what it is. Not many people probably know about this movie. It's a shame because it deserves more attention. But ever since I first heard about it, I've been meaning to get to it. And as I said, it's well worth the wait. I should. Why didn't I? I should have watched this earlier. This is one of the. This might actually be my favorite Christmas movie that isn't a comedy. Well, yeah, this is my favorite Christmas movie that isn't a comedy, and probably could be now in the conversation as one of my favorite films of all time. Probably even one of my favorite World War One movie. I'll have to think that over because there's a few others as well. I mean, obviously I'm gonna have a soft spot for Gallipoli, but you never know. The, but anyway, so as I said, this is a World War One movie. So let's get on with a bit of history first. I'm sure a lot of you who have studied World War One will know about about the Christmas Eve ceasefires that happened. So basically, this ceasefire would happen almost every year around Eastern Europe during the conflict of World War One, where the Allied and where all where the troops on both sides of the war ceasefire on Christmas Eve, where they you know the soldiers on each side and the commanders and officers and all that basically talked with the other with their enemies. They went they held masses, they played football, they buried the dead, they shared food, drink alcohol. They showed their photos of their partners with the opposite sides. It was the only time that they would do that. It sounds strange, but in many ways, but it was an important part of the Great War, and it's worth looking more into. Some troops on both sides, on, on the Allied or the Axis, no, I think that's World War One, World War Two. I'm thinking of there, but some troops on both sides never never liked it. I mean, um, like there are some troops just never wanted, never took part in it. Like Hitler never did it, but it's another story to go on about it. So anyway, yeah. But with that said, it is a significant part of World War One. Now this is based on the first ceasefire that took place on the Western Front on the German border, where Scottish, French, and German troops are obviously in the midst of conflict when out of nowhere after on the first year of the war, so 1914, they they get and realizing that they're not going to be home in time for Christmas, the Polish would decide decide to go against their officers and commission a ceasefire for Christmas Eve. But all troops on each side get out of the trenches and meet their opposing enemies. Whereas I said, they take part in a mass, they bury the dead, they show their enemies their foes of their families, they share chocolate, they share wine, they play football. The truce is extended to Christmas Day. Not sure that happened. I'll have to double check that. But yeah. So and basically they in 1 or 2 days they become close. They become friends with who should be their enemies. And obviously this causes conflict with their countries who want them to go back into to fighting and taking take part in the other. And in many, and we see the sacrifice that that the soldiers in each of these countries had to make in order to prevent that from happening. It's so, and that's probably the most powerful thing in this. It's every main central character in this, every soldier who is central, as well as the sole woman to have appeared in the trenches, which did happen. Sometimes women were allowed to go to the to their to see their partners, depending if they were central figures or something like that. And everyone is so under identifiable there, and in just a few scenes, you understand where they're coming from and how much the effect of the first year of World War One has affected them, and how for this one night of Christmas their humanity shines through, and you know they come to and they develop a bond with who should be there, with who is their enemy. It's it's incredible, and the acting all throughout this film is really well done. The two that stand out to the two actors who I know from the cast, uh, Diane Kruger and Daniel Brujo, I think that's his name. Daniel, you would remember from as being Helmut Zemo from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and yeah, they do a good job. Um, the tension and camera shots really, really are fantastic. Like, there's so much tension in this, especially after the ceasefire ends and that the each side is told by the superiors to kill the other. And yeah, it's so fantastic. And as I said, the camera shots of the trenches and the battlefield and everything around it's just so fantastic. The music helps it. In fact, the opening song in the opening with with a young boy in a school from each three of the warring sides singing why singing about how the soldiers are meant to kill their enemies for the sake of their country's victory is so moving and so beautiful. It's so I shouldn't say beautiful, but really helps paint the picture of what will eventually be the central conflict. I feel like this movie is shot in a way to make it feel so real, like you were in that in this film. You were those soldiers. You were in this environment that we can only dare to think about the horror that these men went through. I I just feel it's so tough. I think the emotional moments always stand out. The moment that I think really stood out to me was when they're digging they're digging the graves of the soldiers who died earlier. I I think I'm not sure if I came close to crying on my first viewing, but it definitely made me feel that way, and I was so moved by that. It was fantastic. Uh, And as I said, all and again, my favorite thing is how each central character from all three sides, you understand them so well, even if if they you just it's hard to say if you can say I don't know. I love them all. Well, I love them. I identify with them all. I'm trying to say I identify with each and every one of them and how much they connect. You can understand they connect to you on quite a big level, and it's incredible. It's it's something, you know. I'd say I will say my nitpick with this is, as I said at the beginning, not every soldier took part in the Christmas ceasefire, or while they did in some regards, they would only do it for say doing they wouldn't really take part in the main thing. They wouldn't interact with their enemies. And there is a Scottish soldier in this who doesn't take part in it. He does take part in the grave in digging the graves because his brother dies just before the ceasefire begins, and this obviously makes him think. This obviously embitters him in and obviously he doesn't want to have be involved in socializing with the Germans. Um, I understand him. I I find him a good character. I find this character of this soldier necessary in this film. My only problem is he's not necessarily one of the main six characters. I feel like he should have been. I just feel like he should have had a bit more time. But the time we do get, time he is in the film is enough. You understand why he feels that way. But I just would have liked more personally. I just would have liked him to be more of a central character. Yeah. Um, but that's a nitpick. Really, I don't have anything negative to say about this film. Joyeux Noel is fantastic. I love this. It's a fantastic movie. And I definitely think this will be somewhere within my favorite films of all time. Um, I'll have to look over my list and see where I put this, but yeah, this is amazing. Um, I definitely give this a full 10 out of 10 half stars, without a doubt. Like, I knew when I was going to first see this will be a fantastic movie, and it was. It most certainly was. This is a great, great film. So beautiful. So beautiful. I I have nothing more to say about it. I just love it. I love it. I love it. Going to my next Christmas review though. Again, this will be one that I haven't yet seen, and it's been on my bucket list for a while. And there is an emotional reason, and it is going to be a very, well, I won't say emotional watching it, but more emotionally thinking about what's going on for main actor now. I think you can guess if you can figure out who I'm referring to. Good, because here's the thing: I already reviewed the first movie when I first in 2019, so you can maybe now you can sort of guess. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Watching this film for the first time, but and um, well, just have to wait. You just have to wait and see till I get to that film, to that review. Um, whether or not this comes out before I review Wonka, you're just going to wait and see. It just depends on how quick I can get this video done. Well, and and all that jazz. For the meantime, as of Master Reviews is out, and I shall see you for my next video. Ciao.